From season 3, episode 4 was delicious. All jokes aside, this was an amazing episode. There is so much to talk about. It really took the series up a notch, and I just cannot believe some of the things that happened. We're gonna discuss it. If you're not all caught up with season 3 of From, save this video and come back later. The first thing I noticed in this episode was the beginning scene where Ethan was looking at Victor's drawings of a little family of 3 with the man in black looking at them. This is clearly a drawing that Victor made of him, his mother, and his sister, with the man in black staring at him and his family. So after the information we got in this episode and the more details that Victor gave us, we can understand that that is Christopher, who is scary and once was funny and made them laugh and smile, but made them as a family run away to a hiding spot in the cellar to get away from what was going to happen to end the cycle. However, a few moments later, when Jim takes the phone from Ethan, he is told by his son Thomas, those are not his children anymore. At the moment, I don't have any understanding of what he could have meant by telling Jim that, but I do want to talk about the fact that the voice told Ethan that his mother Tabitha was going to be arriving on the ambulance. Because the fact that the monsters even knew that they were going to arrive. When Randall said they're creatures of habit and they take that to a whole new level, I truly think that this just goes to show how planned out and thoughtful the monsters are being this season. Now I believe even more in the theory that the crows are actually the eyes and the ears of the monsters during the daytime. There's a longtime fan on Reddit named Taryn Matharu who has come up with the ultimate From theories all over the Reddit pages for From. I've spoken with him the last 2 years through Insta messages about his theories, and he always sends me links to updates on them, but there's one he has about the crows and the monsters that I'm going to follow up in another video. I got permission from him to share it with you guys, so we'll discuss it later this week. There's even a scene with the grandma monster that everyone thinks is Tilly for some reason, or like Tilly's sister, in front of the ambulance where she tells Randall, oh sweetie, that's not how it works, because he's holding up a talisman trying to prevent them from coming near him. And with the way they left Randall at the end of the episode, I think they knew that they wanted him to survive, and or he said at one point in the bus, there are things worse than death. And the one thing that's worse than death is immortality, because you have to see everyone around you pass on over the years while you get to continue living and be alone the whole time. And given the fact that he was not unalived by the monsters and or was actually unalived by them and then came back to life is absolutely something that leads me to believe that the 3 people under the spell from last season are probably immortal, at least within the confines of Fromville. I also noticed with Elgin that he has a shirt with the crow on it, and it's the shirt he actually came into town with. If you watch the episode where he comes in season 2 on the bus, he's wearing the same shirt. But he is seeing the monster again, and the monster actually speaks to him this time and tells him, help me, and is leading him towards where Fatima is about to walk to in front of the couch. Nikki is about to be unalived. We also hear Tilly express her concern to Elgin for Fatima when he believes it's actually Nikki that she's talking about. I do believe that this time he was actually awake, so Tilly did not see it. I also think it was hilarious the way she got clocked for using the tarot cards in a place like this by the lady in Colony House whose grandmother knew the nursery rhyme or lullaby that the curse the other 3 people were under in last season. I love that she checked her. Now we're going to talk about Fatima, because I know so many of you in my comments want me to discuss what she did in this week's episode, because it was one of the most unhinged and unexpected things of the entire series. The rotten food made her look and feel better, but so did the thing that she ate in this episode. And while it was really gross the way they visually displayed what she was doing, something that is throwing me off from the her or the baby becoming the monster theories is that the monsters don't really drink that thing that she was drinking or taste it or go for it. Like, they're not zombies, they're not vampires. So is this a new entity or creature that's being made within her or inside of her, or that she is turning into? And my worry is that what if she starts doing this and feeding on other people in the town when no one is looking? It's kind of suspicious to me how Marielle seems to be the only one of the 3 people that were under the curse is like happy and cheerful and like excited about something. Yeah, it's sweet that these 2 women are helping each other out. Fatima was being an ally for her and Christy in this episode. Like, it was wonderful to see that, and their friendship kind of growing because they have this nurturing that's going on with her helping with Fatima's baby. Something about this does not sit right with me, because how is she so okay while Julie and Randall are so disturbed? And it's clear that they're all experiencing the post-trauma of what happened to them differently. However, I'm wondering if whatever is going on with Marielle is what's causing Fatima to do these unusual things. Because right up until she went to the infirmary with Ellis to get help from Marielle, she was not doing these weird, strange things. The oddest thing that she was doing is having a little bit too much morning sickness. But as soon as she gets back from the infirmary, she starts eating the rotten food. Then as soon as she sees Marielle again and she gets her checkup on her a week or so later, she is now drinking you-know-what from you-know-who. So aside from thinking that those 3 are immortal characters now, or that they cannot be unalived by the monsters and can only be perpetually harmed and messed with by the monsters to inflict drama, like the fact that Boyd will now be looked at poorly by Randall is what the monsters wanted. That was the whole point of their entire plan. So what if the help that Marielle is giving Fatima is actually influencing Fatima to do these unusual things. Now, going back to the monsters and going to Acosta, the new character that's going to be on the show for at least it seems 5 episodes, I thought it was pretty messed up what she did to Nikki. Like, once you realize that the people that you are poo-pooing at are not going down, and that should tell you, especially as a cop, that that is not a useful option and that you should just run and seek shelter. And after Boyd has a breakdown in front of the entire colony house, I think it's now going to make him look weaker as a sheriff of the town. And I know it's because he's under pressure and he feels really bad for having just left Randall behind. Or does he? I don't know. This was wild to see. Like, I kind of feel like Randall seeing him from the ambulance, looking up, seeing him with the drinks with Donna is gonna be like, oh, so you're partying? You just let these monsters take me and you're up here having like a cheers with Donna. I do think it goes to show you though that like Boyd cannot save everyone. The monsters are really smart. They're doing whatever it is that they want to do strategically so that people lose faith and trust in each other. And in this episode, we even had Donna freaking out for the first time. And this is what the monsters wanted. This is what I'm talking about, because they are not hurting them physically because they're outside. They're hurting them physically on the inside the homes, inside their shelter, inside themselves. This is how the monsters are hurting them. And our 2 big leaders of the show are like breaking, and it's like heartbreaking to watch them go through these things. But that is what these monsters want. They want to play with people. And if they were just to unalive them, it would not be any fun. They want people to break under the pressure like Boyd and Donna. Now, let's talk about the other kind of monsters on this show. Jasper, who is a creepy puppet that once was owned by Christopher, who in this episode we found out that Victor saw speaking with Christopher in the basement of the church, which is the same basement that Father Cautry was sitting in the same spots with Sarah in season 1. I am seeing the last 24 hours some people online saying that they believe that 1, this is a symbol for the lighthouse, which I think is a pretty cool like little Easter egg. And 2, the conversation between these 2 was the puppet telling Christopher to take or hurt Victor and Eloise from Miranda. Victor went through so much like reliving trauma in this episode. He had really wonderful character development, and I loved that he was sitting in there with Sarah. He called her the scariest person in town. Like, there is so much in this episode that the characters were discussing things with each other about. I also forgot to mention earlier, she is balancing out the fact that Nikki is now out of the town so that the number is balanced once again. Tabitha is replacing herself because when she left, she did not get replaced. I don't know who Victor's father Henry is supposed to replace. I'm wondering if he's just an added on person just so he can be able to reconnect with his son. That's gonna be a big moment that all of us have been waiting for. We see Jim discover Tabitha in the ambulance with Victor's father Henry, and he is in shock. Tabitha's in shock. He's glad that she's back. They go to Colony House to escape. Boyd drives them over there, leaving Randall behind. Makes sense that Boyd would save the Matthews over Randall because they have their kids there. And while Julie and Ethan are in the dark about whether Tabitha did arrive or not on the ambulance, Jim and Tabitha are at Colony House and they are in the room, and she's explaining to Jim everything that went on when she escaped from. Tells him about Victor's dad. She tells him about the paintings. She tells him that she escaped. I'm running out of time. I want to discuss more, but I want to cover one thing. People are wondering why she did not tell the people of Colony House that she escaped and that she has Victor's father with her. I will just say that this woman is still in shock that she's back at all. She clearly tells Jim that she feels like she ruined their only chance to escape. Her telling people that that's Victor's father would just make her look crazy to everybody. I cannot wait to see the kids reunite with her next week.